Hello, I'm Pete Bellotta. While I don't think the hammer will ever become obsolete, the advent of the power nailer has certainly reduced our dependency upon it. In this program, we'll look at three types of power nailers, including the framing nailer, the finish nailer, and the powder-actuated fastener. As you'll soon learn, using a hammer to drive nails is becoming a thing of the past. A framing nailer is designed for structural nailing, as in house construction. Pneumatic framing nailers are powered by compressed air, while impulse nailers rely on a fuel cell along with a rechargeable battery for power. Finish nailers are designed to drive thin gauge nails and are used primarily for assembly work and millwork installation. While most finish nailers are powered by compressed air, cordless electric models are available that can drive thin gauge nails up to 2.5 inches long. Powder-actuated fasteners are designed exclusively for attaching wood to concrete or steel. These tools come in both impact-driven and trigger-activated models. Framing nailers are designed to accept one of two nail types, round head nails or clipped head nails. As the name implies, a clipped head nail has a portion of the head removed, giving it a distinctive D shape. This allows more nails to fit into the magazine, which cuts down on reloading. However, the downside to using a clipped head nailer is that the nails may not meet code in certain areas, since they're considered to have less holding power in structural applications than round head nails. Finish nailers typically use 16 to 18 gauge nails from 1.25 inches up to 2.5 inches in length. The fasteners used for a powder-actuated nailer are referred to as drive pins. The plastic collar surrounding the tip holds the pin inside the tool's muzzle. Pins are fired by power loads, which come in various strengths for different applications. All framing and finish nailers share the same basic controls. These include the trigger switch, drive type selector, variable depth adjuster, and the magazine loader. The trigger switch is located in the handle and is used to fire the nails in one of two ways. In the sequential firing mode, each squeeze of the trigger dispenses a single nail. In the bump fire mode, the trigger is held in the depressed position while nails are dispensed each time the nose piece contacts the work. Firing mode is determined according to the position of the drive type selector. To control how far a nail is driven into the work, power nailers are equipped with a variable depth adjuster. Depending on the setting, nails can be driven to a level just above or below the surface of the workpiece. Nails are stored in a chamber called a magazine that runs the length of the tool. Once engaged, the magazine loader applies pressure on the nails to maintain the tool's automatic feed. One of the most distinguishing features between power nailers is the orientation of the magazine relative to the tool body. On straight nailers, the magazine is mounted at a right angle to the body. On angled nailers, the magazine is mounted at 20 degrees or greater, which helps improve accessibility when nailing in a confined space. While all power tools are potentially dangerous, the risks associated with using them are typically limited to the operator. However, power nailers are unique in that they dispense product, which means they not only pose a safety risk to the user, but anyone else nearby as well. With that in mind, pay close attention to these important safety precautions. Never point the tool toward yourself or anyone else, even if the magazine is empty. Never fire the tool unless the nose piece is firmly against the work. Never fire a nail too close to the edge of the workpiece or too close to another nail. Never operate the tool near flammable materials. Keep the tool out of the reach of children and inexperienced persons. Always remove the power source before loading or unloading the magazine. Always wear eye and ear protection when operating the tool. Before using a pneumatic power nailer, the first step is to insert the appropriate air inlet fitting. Air nailers accept 1/4 inch NPT fittings. Make sure the shank size matches the coupler on the air line. With the fitting installed, apply several drops of pneumatic tool oil directly into the air inlet. The next step is to load the magazine with the nails suitable for the application. This particular nailer accepts round head nails 2 inches to 3.5 inches long. With the nails in the magazine, pull back on the loader until it is resting behind the last nail. Next, engage the trigger lock if equipped, and then rotate the nail depth adjuster to the desired setting. Be aware that nail depth is affected by the available air pressure regardless of the actual depth setting. For example, low air pressure will result in shallow nail depth even if the deepest adjustment is selected. To ensure accurate nail depth adjustments, make sure the air pressure is within the manufacturer's recommended operating range. This information can be found in the instruction manual that came with the tool. With the magazine loaded and trigger locked, connect the air hose to the inlet fitting, making sure the coupler locks into place. Set the drive type selector to the sequential fire mode and then place the nose piece against the work. Now squeeze the trigger to fire a nail and then release. To drive nails continuously, set the drive type selector to the bump fire mode. Now depress and hold the trigger and then bring the nose piece into contact with the work to drive a nail. Continue this process to drive nails in rapid succession. Warning: to prevent unintentional firing with the tool in the bump fire mode, make sure the nose piece does not recontact the material during recoil. To avoid marring the surface of finished materials, disconnect the airline, engage the trigger lock, and then install the protective pad over the nose piece. Now, let's go back to the shop and I'll show you how to operate an impulse type power nailer. To begin, insert the fuel cell into the chamber and place the stem in the adapter hole. Handle fuel rods carefully and never expose to direct sunlight or temperatures exceeding 120 degrees. In addition, do not smoke and make sure interior spaces are well ventilated. Next, insert the nail strip into the magazine. This nailer is designed for clipped head nails 2 to 3.5 inches in length. With the nails inserted, pull back on the magazine loader to lock the nail strip into position and then insert the battery. At this point, the nailer should be tested for firing depth. While holding the nailer firmly, depress the push lever against the workpiece and then squeeze the trigger. If the nailing depth is not acceptable, remove the battery and fuel cell. Next, loosen the bolt on the push lever. Nailing depth is reduced as the lever is moved downward. Tighten the bolt to secure the setting and then make another firing test. This unit is designed to drive nails in the sequential firing mode only. To operate a finish nailer safely, regardless of type, apply the same basic principles shown for using a framing nailer. However, be sure to read the instruction manual for details regarding specific features and controls. Before using a powder-actuated fastener, be sure to review the safety precautions we covered earlier along with these additional safety guidelines. Never place your hand over the muzzle of the tool even if the chamber is empty. Only use the manufacturer's recommended fasteners and power loads. Keep the work area clear of bystanders. Never fire the tool without a fastener installed in the muzzle. Be sure the power load is correctly matched to the application. This information can be found right on the box. For quick visual identification, each power load has a color-coded tip. The colors have corresponding numbers to further identify strength, with number 1 gray being the weakest and number 4 yellow being the strongest. Before using a powder-actuated fastener, make sure the base material is suitable for fastening by placing a drive pin against the surface and striking it with a normal hammer blow. If the tip of the drive pin becomes blunted, the material is too hard. If the material cracks or shatters, the material is too brittle. If the pin penetrates too easily, the material is too soft. A positive result is indicated when the drive pin makes a slight depression in the surface. To load the tool, position the muzzle away from your body and pull the barrel completely forward to reset the piston. Insert the appropriate length drive pin head first into the muzzle until the plastic collar is seated inside. Next, insert the correct power load into the chamber. When fastening framing lumber to concrete, the tool should be loaded with a 2.5-inch drive pin along with a number 4 yellow power load. Be aware that the load will not fully seat until the tool is compressed against the work. Next, wrap your fingers around the barrel and pull it back to a loosely closed position. Warning: never place your fingers or hands over the muzzle. With the tool held loosely closed, place it against the material to be fastened and then compress the tool completely. Be sure the muzzle is resting squarely on the work. While holding the tool firmly, squeeze the trigger to discharge the fastener. To expel the spent load, slide the barrel forward quickly. At this point, the tool can be reloaded with a drive pin followed by a power load. Operating an impact-driven fastener is essentially the same, except that a hammer blow is required to trigger the load. To ensure optimum performance from a pneumatic power nailer, it's important to drain the air compressor after each use. This will prevent moisture from accumulating in the tank and contaminating the tool. To further reduce the risk of internal corrosion, apply several drops of pneumatic oil to the tool when you're finished using it. Prior to storing the tool, fire it at least twice to allow the oil to circulate. Speaking of tool storage, make sure the storage area is cool and dry, and be sure to keep the tool out of direct sunlight while you're working. Now, one of the on-job maintenance tasks you may need to perform is clearing a jammed nail. Since each nailer is unique, you'll need to consult the instruction manual that came with the tool. For now, here are two examples. Warning: before clearing a jam, always disconnect the air hose if applicable, set the trigger lock if equipped, and/or remove the battery and/or fuel cell. Next, unload the magazine by pulling the loader backwards and releasing the feeder lock lever. With the nailer upside down, insert a small rod into the nose piece and tap it with a hammer to dislodge the jammed nail. To clear a jam on this model, pull the magazine loader backward and lock it into position. Next, remove the nails. If only a few nails are left, use a thin flat blade screwdriver to push them out. With the nails removed, release the jam clearing latch and raise the nail cover. At this point, the jam nail can be removed from the nose piece. While a powder-actuated fastener may not experience nail jams, it may occasionally misfire. If this occurs, hold the tool firmly against the work for 30 seconds and then remove the tool and open the barrel. Now, reset the load in the chamber and resume the firing procedure. If the tool misfires a second time, hold the tool against the work for 30 seconds and then discharge the load into a bucket of water. To prevent misfires, clean the barrel and chamber using a detergent motor oil along with a small wire brush. Be sure to dry the parts thoroughly after cleaning, since residual oil will collect dirt and dust. While this program has covered the basics in the use and care of power nailers and power-actuated fasteners, its primary purpose has been to familiarize you with these time-saving tools. Never operate a power nailer or power-actuated fastener until you have read and understood all of the information contained in the instruction manual that came with the tool. Now, let's review the key points of the program. A framing nailer is designed for structural nailing, as in house construction. Pneumatic framing nailers are powered by compressed air, while impulse nailers rely on a fuel cell along with a rechargeable battery for power. Finish nailers are designed to drive thin gauge nails and are used primarily for assembly work and millwork installation. While most finished nailers are powered by compressed air, cordless electric models are available that can drive thin gauge nails up to 2.5 inches long. Powder-actuated fasteners are designed exclusively for attaching wood to concrete or steel.